And an open mind, and whenever you're ready, Alice, take it away.
So, throughout our whole life, we've been drilled with how horrible genocides are. It seems like every year we learn again and again about the Holocaust and how terrible it was, and it was the extinction of, well, the trying to extinct an entire race of people. And it's happened time and time again between the Tutsis in Rwanda and the Jews in Germany. But it's happening right here in our country, and we don't even recognize it. America is destroying the race of their children. Now, I've got a few reasons for you to listen. It's the killing of a child. Many people don't believe that it is a child, but it's my goal today to prove to you that it really is a human life that we're talking about. And it's a decision that will come up in all of your lives, abortion or life. And even if it's not you personally, you're going to know someone that has to go through this choice, and they're going to need your help and advice. So it's good to just be informed on the issue. And our country was really like the pioneer in the whole abortion issue, and it's spreading worldwide. And now it's becoming a global issue. Italians are always known for their lovers, their food, and their big families. But apparently their big families aren't as popular anymore. Since 2008, there's been about 60,000 less births in that country. They have a negative birth rate, which is like the first time in Italian history, I think. According to The Guardian, the health minister Beatrice Lorenzins says, "We are on close to the threshold of non-renewal, where the people dying are not replaced by newborns. This means that we are a dying country." So I thought that was really interesting because people don't really think of it as a dying country, but when you're not being repopulated, it's because you're not having enough children, and it's because it's so easy to get rid of them nowadays. So abortion is morally wrong because of the inhumane procedure involved, the start of human life, and the more loving and safer options available other than abortion. So first, I want to talk about the procedure, and birthmothers.org gives detailed descriptions of the procedures. I told you about them in my informative speech, so I'm not going to go into them again, but there's the vacuum method, the saline method, the dilation and extraction, the hysterotomy, all horrible things that result in death. But I'm just going to warn you, the following slides have extremely cute babies on them. So I want you all to imagine that you have this little baby girl. They are the cutest, most precious things. Fathers, you would give your life for them. They're like, you're so protective. Mothers, they're a part of you. You know, if anything happened, you'd feel like it was happening to you. And I mean, there's so many adorable babies out there, and you love them to death when they're outside your womb. So can you imagine something like this horrible thing happening to your child? If some guy came with scissors at the back of your kid's neck and cut its spinal cord, you'd want to rip their head off. But somehow it doesn't seem as important when that child is in the womb. But it still is for a child, and it's your job to protect it. So now that we've just touched on the inhumane procedure, I don't want to go too in depth again. Let's talk about the start of human life. Okay, so life begins at the moment of conception when a zygote is formed. It's when the sperm and the egg cell meet. And already, that little cell has the DNA of the child, and human molecules are actually inside that cell. It's unique with a complete design that's different from anyone else's on the planet. And the Family Research Council has actually mapped out some very important milestones during prenatal development that occur even before a woman can realize that she's pregnant. So at 22 days, this is what it looks like. And you already see it has a heart right here. And that heart is pumping that baby's own blood, purely unique, through that body. At 6 weeks, you're already starting to form organs. This is like when a woman first misses her period and she's starting to get a little concerned. This baby already has eyes, eyelids, a nose, a mouth, and a tongue when she first thinks like, oh, there might be something going on. At 7 weeks, there's already electrical brain activity, and like the nervous system is starting to function. At 8 weeks, science officially calls it a fetus, and the organs and bodily structures are all there. It just has to grow into them. At 10 weeks, the baby starts to move, and these are the basic developmental key points in the baby's life, and they only just grow after here. Things get more mature, they move more, and they get bigger. And just so all of you can experience it, this is what it looks like at 10 weeks. You can hold it in your hand. You can see it has eyes, it has a mouth. It has stuff that every human already has, and it's in your stomach. People don't realize that it's actually a baby. So take a minute, pick it up, hold it in your hand. That's what's inside of you when you're just starting to consider, oh my gosh, what should I do? If you could have that baby out and living with you, it probably wouldn't even be a thought in your mind what would happen to it. Because it's inside you, you think that it's, not as real as it really is. So I want to show you all a quick video, because a lot of times doctors that will say, well, do you want to turn back from your pregnancy? They don't even call it abortion anymore. They just say, well, it's not too late if you don't want to do this. They market it very well. And a lot of times they'll say, it's just a blob of tissue. So I'm going to show you all, oh wait, go back, where'd it go? An ultrasound, because it really is not just, well, I will in 1 second. It's really not just the blob of tissue. You see that it's an actual baby in there. So right here.
Finally, a works cited list is useful for something.
Okay, there we go. Technology's not getting the best of me. You can totally see here. Look, here's the head, and that little nose picking up right there. And here's a chin, the big belly, the legs. It's got its hand on his nose right now. Like, they're little people in there. They do things that we do, and they move around. They're kicking all the time. There's a little cord connecting them to the mother. And it's just incredible that that's a baby in there. Like, it's, a lot of people don't see ultrasounds every day. And I just thought it'd be really nice for you guys to actually look. You can see that heart pumping right there. See like that little muscle moving? And they're actually getting very advanced in their technology. They can make a 3D image of it and show you what it's probably going to look like. Like there's its hand on his nose again. So, okay, one of the major issues is a viability issue. And this is the thing that Roe versus Wade, the first abortion law in the Supreme Court, really defined as the key moment. So for something to be viable, it can't survive on its own. So it's almost like saying the baby's a parasite on the mother because it's taking nutrients from her. But it's actually incredible that EHG.org has statistics showing that at 22 weeks, this is a baby at 22 weeks, about halfway through a pregnancy, and they have a 40% chance of survival rate outside the womb. So, science still says it's viable for the mother, but it can survive on its own because of modern medicine and such. Okay, so now that we've talked about the start of human life, let's talk about the more loving and safer options available than abortion. So the first is parenting, and it's by far the one with the most responsibility, but it probably has the best reward at the end. But parenting is no joke. It's a major step in your life. If you're not ready for it, there's other options too. Just the financial burden alone, it costs between $1,000 to $2,000 a month with diapers and formula and car seats and strollers. So it's a big responsibility, and you want to make sure you're ready for it and you don't just jump in. But the other option is adoption, and it gives that baby a chance at life. But what people don't realize about adoption, even abortion, you have to pay between $500 to $2,000. But according to AmericanAdoptions.com, most adoption agencies will actually cover all of your expenses during pregnancy, your rent, your utilities, your maternity clothes, which are ridiculously expensive, your prenatal care, which is the vitamins, everything. Anything that you could need during pregnancy, the adoption agencies cover it because they want to make sure that you're giving that baby the best environment it can to grow up in, and you give it to a loving home. So the thing that's the best thing about these two options is that you're giving that little kid a chance at life. Even if you're not ready to be a part of its life, you're still giving it that life. So to review, we've talked about the inhumane procedure, the start of human life, and the more loving and safer options available. And in the end, it truly is a woman's choice. A baby doesn't have a voice. But I just implore you that you take in mind that it is a baby. And when you're faced with this decision, or if one of your friends are, you can guide her in the steps available that don't result in death. And, you know, I've given these arguments a ton of times, told it to my friends, and they say, you know what, Ella, you're right, abortion is wrong. But if I was faced with an unplanned pregnancy, I don't know if I'd be strong enough to go through with it. And I always hoped that I would be. And 4.5 months ago, I was put up to a test. This is a picture of my baby. I'm 4.5 months pregnant, and it was a complete surprise. I didn't plan it. And I'm just so happy that I was strong enough to say yes to my baby's life. So, here.
Congratulations.